Hello boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting FreeCAD tutorial video by yours truly, Peter Phelps. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to get into TechDraw, because pretty much if you go in and if you've downloaded the old drawing workbench, and if I click on all these, and first off I gotta come up with, I want to insert a new drawing. I don't want the A3 though, I want the A4 landscape. That's about the closest to 8.5 by 12 inch file. Now, so we have just the page, but if I try to insert into this a view, select only one part. Okay, so even if I select just one part, let's say the front, and I want to insert a view. As you notice, it has a check mark on there, but nothing's showing up. Nothing's coming onto the page. I click any of these here, these different views, nothing is showing up. So I think the drawing workbench is completely depreciated. It no longer works at all. So thus we have to move on into using the TechDraw workbench. So I'm going to delete the page, and what I'm going to do is go over to the TechDraw, which is actually built into FreeCAD. It's the new way to do this, and I'm going to insert a new default page. It seems to be set to the same thing right now as A4, so I click that. I basically get the same thing. The nice thing here is all you have to do is sit here and click into these and type. What is today? Sorry. 1/10/2019. So date 1/10/2019 is the format I like. I know in other countries it's something else. I'm going to click the title, and I'm going to call this Birdhouse bird feed. Or what I can do is go Birdhouse into the title, and then bird feeder in this one. It's the type of version it is. Scale, well, I'll probably figure that out on the fly as I put stuff in. Weight, because I really don't know what that is for right now. I like to put in A. Drawing number, this will be drawing number 1. Sheet will be 1. And then what I'm going to do for this one, I'm going to show all of it. The neat thing with this new TechDraw is it is usually based on whatever view, the way you're looking at it right now. So if I click and select all of these, make sure they're all open so that I'm selecting everything. I'm shift clicking, I selected all of it. I'm going to go to the page, and I'm going to insert view and page. Now, the original view here is huge, so I'm going to go over here, open up the page. What is it doing? Let me hit escape for a second. Trying to open the page. There we go. So I can click the view, and I'm going to change the scale And this time I think I'm going to go, let's see, 0.25. Hit enter. Now what I like is, before in Dimension you had to sit there and play with these values, the X and Y, where they are. Here you can just click and drag. You can move your view around. You can even change the view to, instead of the label saying view, you can say orthographic, meaning 3D. Hit enter, and a lot of times the change isn't right after you hit enter on this one. As soon as you click back to the document though, it usually changes. Okay, and so I'm going to go back over. I'm just playing with this right now, and I'm going to do an Alt and rotate just to show you that it can show another view. I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to select everything again. I'll go to page, and I am going to insert the view again. And back to the view, and I'm going to change that back again to 0.25. And I'll just call that one Ortho 2. Okay, but I did find an interesting thing. If I go, if I take this and I rotate it, so I'm like at a really weird upside down type angle, and then I select them all, go back to the page, and I click insert view. Now that time it did it. But earlier I did one of these where I was looking at it at a low angle, and it gave me a totally different view than what I had selected. I'll move my thing over here. And we'll call that Ortho 3 or something. Okay, so I could try one more view just to see if it will goof up like it did on me earlier. My exact look at the time was something like this. Okay, so we'll see if that makes a difference. Selected all of them, insert view. No, so I don't know why it did it to me weird the other time, last time. Last night I was trying to do this so I could try to go through the test run. Okay, and you can drag those around. But you get the idea. You basically get what you kind of set up in the view in FreeCAD. So it's a lot more flexible than the drawing workbench was. You only had a certain specific set of views, and they were all pretty much based on these up here. You can change some of your, like the point of view, the third, was it person or something. But basically, you have the freedom to move it around, change your view whatever way you want. So I'm pretty much done with that page, but I'm going to make another one. insert another page. That's another thing I never had a really good time at doing in drawing, was being able to make multiple pages that really worked without it messing up the other ones. So here what I'm going to do, I'm not going to bother with filling all this out. You understand how to fill that out because I always showed you. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add the front, and I'm going to change the view so that I am looking directly at the front of the front part. Okay. Front. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add a view. I'm going to change the view from that one to 0.5. So it's like half. So that would be your scale that you end up putting into this down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the front, but I'm going to, now I had a problem when I went to this side and selected the front, and then I came back over here and I clicked insert view, and this time it did it. Wow. Well, everything I was doing last night is not duplicating right now, so I don't know. But okay, we'll change the scale on that one to 0.5. And move it over a bit. Now, I could do one more view. Let's see. Which would be better, top or bottom? It really probably doesn't matter, because they're going to be the same. Front. And insert view. And I'll change that to 0.52, so that's the scale. And that would be the number you ended up entering into here. You would put 0.5 as a scale. Okay, one of the things I want to do, because you can't see it here or here, is you want to be able to show this circle here. So what I'm going to do is go to the view 0.5. I'm going to scroll down, and there is a whole bunch of parameters that we didn't have before, I don't think. I mean, coarse view on off, smooth lines on off. That's like if you filleted something, you want those to show up. Visible seam lines on off. Well, you might want that if you've got multiple things you're adding. Visible ISO UV lines off on off. I'm not sure what that is. Hard hidden lines on off. Smooth. Hidden smooth lines on off. Hidden seam lines on off. ISO hidden lines on off. Number of ISO parameters, I'm not sure what that is, but I believe I want to select the hidden hard lines on off, change that to true, and then click over here, and now we have where the hole was. Do the same thing to this other one, true, and I'm going to change these the labels on this. I'm going to change this to front. Oops, what happened? Hit enter. Oh, maybe it's because I changed one of the other ones to front. Let's see, side. mouse at top. Okay, and then we're going to work on putting some dimensions in here. So for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and put all the dimensions that are metric, let them do that part, and then I'll come back and drag this out a little. Select this and give it the radius. I like to drag the radius up a little so you can see it. And it's really hard, but if you click you can get the edge of the other one. Do a radius on that one too. Now if you click these little crosses, I can just click the face. Sometimes it's hard to click them. Control click the other one, and give us how far they are apart. And then I like to control click this and give, so you know where that is. This is in the center, it's the same on the other side. And we'll do one that shows how far. Well, actually I'm going to do that on this other one. Sometimes I have clients that want me to say or detail where the edge of one circle is to the edge of the other circle. Now if you try this, control clicking both, and you click this, you get an error. Need two vertices, one straight edge, one vertex, one straight edge, two straight edges for horizontal dimensions, edge type invalid. So I can't do that, basically. That is why I made sure to show these here. Now, there's an error in this. For some reason, it does not show the hole I made for this dowel, for the birdhouse. I don't know why there's no hole here. I don't know why there's not lines for the hole over here. So, what I'm going to do instead is on this one show how far these two lines are. And you could show the diameter by going here for the hole here. And instead of going and making more things here, I'm just going to go here. Now, this dimension here, this 3004, 32, all that, is the same as this here. So what I'm going to do is click this one. I'm going to give that one a dimension. Now, this here should equal the same as this here. Sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Should be exactly the same. Now if you wanted to know what the edge was from here to here, here to here, could use these. Now, and so we already detailed the diameter of this here. That's done. Now we didn't show what the diameter of this one here is. So if you want, you can try to click the line. You can zoom in if you want, and then move over with the, make it easier to click the line here. And then, of course, you might want to put what the length is. Okay, and I'm going to zoom back out. I'm just scrolling. You could use the plus or the minuses. And I don't think we detailed how thick this is, so I'm going to click here. Put them in. And one thing we could do is we could add an angle. Control click that. Control click this. And let's see, I think this one. Wow. That goes completely off the page, doesn't it? Is there some way of resizing that? I don't think you want it going off the page. I'm going to Control Z, get rid of that. And what I'm going to do is try to see what happens if I do the other angle. If I go here, Control, click this, and then try to give it an angle. Wow. That's not good. I wouldn't suggest using that unless they can shrink this, 'cause that's... wow. You may just have to put it in there yourself, because that's... wow. I'm going to Control Z that again, just to get rid of it. Yeah, I think I'll just put that in on my own with a annotation instead. That's not good. It should stay on the page. It should be small enough. It shouldn't have to be that big to make that. Okay, so as you can tell, like FreeCAD, the TechDraw Workbench is new, relatively new. I mean, it was started in like 17 and now it's in 18, and I think they're still working out some of the bugs. One thing I would like is that they allow me to turn off the crosshairs on the circles. When you're doing one of these type of documents, and say you've got one that's got a whole bunch of circles, those crosshairs end up looking like a grid that aren't really part of the design. They're just in each circle. The one nice thing about the annotations, you don't have to really worry too much about how much it is. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Let's see. Birdhouse, bird feeder plans. Because my original design was all based on inches. I converted everything to metric. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to go, like this is 12 inches. So I'll jump over here, and what I can do is I can add an annotation, and yeah, you want to click on the annotation because I don't think that's changing. You gotta come over here, and you don't really care what the annotation is, but the part that says default text you want to change. Scroll up. You gotta make sure that these brackets are in there. And what I'm going to do is 12 inch and hit enter. Or maybe I should just say 12 in. Period. Put enter. And then I'm going to change this text size to like 4. So that's similar to the size of the text that's already there. And then, because the dimension is rotated, you can go over your rotation, and sometimes it's 90, sometimes it's 270. It depends on which direction they flip the text. Like over here it's going one way, right? But I got another dimension that's going the other direction here. So that can be a little tricky depending on which way you're going. So I'm thinking 270, enter. Then I'm gonna click over and see. Nope, I got it wrong. Okay, it should have been 90. And now you can take the annotation and move it so it matches up with that dimension. And don't worry about these where they say annotation. This is going to change. It'll automatically go annotation 01. All that won't show up when you export the PDF unless you actually changed the settings. There is a setting that will allow that to be done, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. Okay, so let's get back to putting more annotations in. I believe the front of this is 5.5 inches. So we'll add another annotation, drop down here. I'm going to bring it up, go up here, 5:1/2 in period. And I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to change the size again down to 4, and then I'm just going to drag it over. And I'll create another one. I'm going to click in here. I'm going to leave the D. Whoops, sorry. Sometimes I go too far. Make sure you get the brackets. If you don't have the brackets, this doesn't work. So D is for diameter, and I'm going to go 4, and I'm just going to move this. So the diameter of that is 1.5 inches. And it's a 1/4 inch dowel on the bottom. So same thing. And then I'll put another one. I'm going to say 1/2 inch. I'm going to go 4. And we're going to rotate that one the 90 again. And I don't know why I just got I. Oh, I must not hit enter. If you don't hit enter, it doesn't take it. Okay, so this is 1/2 inches between this point and this point. So this here equals this, the 38.100. The 92.50, that is the same as the 1/4 diameter. This, I believe, is supposed to be 3 inches. No, I think it was 4. Yeah. It's supposed to be okay. This one down here is 3/4. I know that. I changed it from the design page up 1 inch while I was doing the design, if I remember right. But okay, so this is 3/4 inch. Four. And let me go back and look at the page here. I didn't want to detail that in here, did I? No. But I originally started out with 3 inches. I think I went up to 4 on that. So I'll go ahead and put an annotation in. You might not have to do this if you were designing everything in inches, then it might show all these into inches. 4. And here, this one will be I think the 270 rotation. Change the text to 4. 270. Right, okay. And so this here is going to equal this, so I really don't have to detail that. This is 3 inches out, but the whole dowel is 3 3/4. I'll go ahead and put a 3 inch annotation there. And all depends on how much detail you or your client want to put on this. As long as there's enough for you to figure out where everything is. Let's see, I think I know what this one is. It's in the picture. 95.25 millimeters was 3 3/4 inches. So another annotation. Space 3/4 and enter and 4, and that becomes this. Okay, when you're all done, you get as many pieces. All you have to do is you could add a whole lot of pieces to this in different scales and put the numbers in. It doesn't matter. Once you're done, go ahead and go File, Save. That way you've saved your work on the pages. And then you can go File, Export PDF, and I'm going to call this one Birdhouse Ortho Views, and click Save. Now I'm going to go over here, and I'll go File, Export PDF, and I'm going to click this and just change the name to Front. So save. And so just to show you what those look like, we're going to go to my documents, FreeCAD videos, Birdhouse Orthos, and fit page, so you can see the whole thing. And so, as you notice, the labels for the views don't show up. So if you want to actually title those, you should create your own annotations. Put annotation titles on the page itself. We'll close that one, and I'll open up the other one. And fit page. Most of the time when I'm reading something, I put fit with. But here you can see all the ones. These are the annotations that I added, but they don't have the little annotation titles under them, and then the other dimensions are there. So that's basically how you would use TechDraw. You can create as many pages as you want, and these would be what you would probably end up using to base like patent designs on. Now most likely you might want to just have a blank page. Let me go back to FreeCAD. Is there a way to select a different page? Insert new page using template. That's what you would probably use. And select a template file. See A4, I would look for A4 blank. Landscape blank. Say open. And now it's just a blank page instead of having all the information from the FreeCAD box. So you can play around with this. I would probably use the hatch part if I was trying to design like a building or something. You could import DXF files, which means you could import files from like AutoCAD. I believe you have, what is this one? You can export it as an SVG. If you do that, then you can open the file up in Inkscape to be able to manipulate it the way you want. That also might help if you were working with trying to patent something. Exporting it as an SVG would allow you to also import the view back into like a document. That would be easier than probably trying to just deal with the PDF. And so that's about all I have to show you. I mean, I could sit here and add another part. Let's see, left, and let's make sure I'm actually looking at the left. So I'm going to go ahead and go from the front, and then come over here and add that, and just again open it up, change the view so it fits the page. .45, and like we were before. I love how this drags though. I mean, I can just sit here and go click and move it. That is so much easier than trying to change these values up here. I used to just change those like crazy on the drawing one. Alright, so I hope this helps some people, and I hope I didn't just dwaddle on too long. Take care. Thank you.